أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى عترة الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to our series Ashura Bringing It Home. Today we're going to be looking at Muslim ibn Aqil. But before we look at him, let's look at the martyrs in Karbala from the Banu Hashim, and specifically the first five who were who were from the family of Aqil. Aqil was the son of Abu Talib, so the brother of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and therefore the uncle of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now, three of his sons, Jafar, Abdul Rahman, and Abdullah, were martyred in Karbala. Muslim also was martyred, but not in Karbala, in Kufa. We have Abdullah, who was the son of Muslim, who was martyred in Karbala, and Muhammad, the son of Abu Sa'id, who was another son of Aqil, who had already passed away. And this child, Muhammad, was at the end when he tried to stop Shimr, as he brought the sword down on Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and Muhammad's arms were severed, and then he was killed. So the sons of Aqil and the grandsons of Aqil had quite a huge role that they played in Karbala. And although Muslim was not killed in Karbala, he was one of the first martyrs of the events of Karbala, and that he was killed in Kufa. So looking at the life of Muslim ibn Aqil, one of the things that we can learn from his life, the main thing that I feel we can learn from his life, is to prepare for our Imam's coming, because that's what Muslim's role was. He was sent to Kufa by Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So he had accompanied Imam from Medina to Makkah, and then Imam sent him to Kufa because Imam alayhi salam had received a lot of letters from the people of Kufa. So Imam said to Muslim ibn Aqil, "Oh cousin, I want you to go to Kufa and find out what the people there have resolved to do. If it is as described in their letters, then send me a message immediately, so that I may join you without delay. But if the situation is different, then return at once." So Muslim is literally been told to go to Kufa and check out the situation and prepare the people for the coming of Imam Hussein alayhi salam if they're ready for his coming. When Muslim reaches there, the people, he explains to the people, he shows the letter of Imam Hussein alayhi salam to the people of Kufa, and the people begin to give their oath of allegiance, until we're told thousands of people did so. They pledged to fight for Imam and assist him by giving their pledge of allegiance to Muslim ibn Aqil. So we need to go, the bringing it home message for us is to think about how we can prepare for the coming of our Imam. What is it that I'm doing? What is it I'm doing for myself in preparing myself, and what is it that I'm doing in the wider sense, in like with my family, with my friends, with the wider community, in preparing for the Imam. We're told that when Imam alayhi salam comes, he will come to revenge the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So it's important that people know who Imam Hussein alayhi salam is, because our Imam is not just going to be coming for the Shias or the Muslims, he's coming for mankind. So it is up to us in preparation to ensure that the message of Imam Hussein is out there, so that one, people know who he is when our Imam refers to him; two, that people actually learn from the life of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and from the events of Karbala, because Karbala was an event that allowed so many different characteristics to be shown, good and bad, so people can then see the good against the bad and decide where they want to stand and what they want to choose and what sort of characteristics they want to bring in themselves. So it's really, really important that we prepare for the coming of our Imam in ourselves and outside ourselves as well. When Yazid receives news of what was happening in Kufa, that the Muslims were pledging their allegiance to Imam Hussein alayhi salam through Muslim, he instructed Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad to take control of Kufa. And when Muslim hears this, he was at that time initially staying at the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, but then he decides to move into the house of a much more powerful Shia called Hani ibn Urwa. And the bringing it home message here is to use the resources we have available and work together. So Muslim knew what resources were available to him. In fact, some historians say that Imam Hussein actually told him to stay with Hani from the beginning, had told him when he goes there to stay with Hani, but Muslim knew that that was what he was going to do, but he was waiting till the right time to move in with Hani. Some say that Hani was not very comfortable with having Muslim there and would have rather he wasn't with him, but once he had come into his household, then he, out of his akhlaq, had to take care of him. So it's again using the resources that are available to put our egos aside and actually use what is available in order to prepare for the coming of the Imam, and also to work together. Imam is waiting for us to work together, to prepare together. I can't do it on my own. We need to do it together. When Ubaidullah came to Kufa, he instructed the town crier to announce that all those who have supported Muslim up to now are pardoned for their mistake. But if they continue on this path, then not only will they be killed, but their entire family. But if they repent and go back to their homes, they will be forgiven. So Muslim at the beginning, as we said, had thousands of people giving their pledge of allegiance to him. But then, one by one, they all left. And in the end, he was all alone. And I think the going away message, the bringing it home message from that is never to give up. Muslim never gave up, even when he was on his own. He didn't give up. He didn't just throw in the towel and say, okay, you know what, there's nothing I can do now. It didn't matter whether the people was with him or not. He was still going to stand for Imam Hussein. He was going to stand his ground. And it's important for us to recognize that it doesn't matter who's with us and who's against us. As long as we know that we are standing for haqq, as long as we know that we are doing right by Allah, then that should give us the confidence and the strength and the sabr to continue doing what Allah wants us to do. Muslim was not considered successful in inverted commas because he wasn't able to prepare Kufa for the coming of the Imam. When Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad came, he managed to turn the people against Imam. People were too scared to give up their lives for Imam. But the beautiful thing is Allah doesn't look at success in that way. In fact, Allah doesn't even look at the results. He doesn't look at whether I succeeded in what I was trying to do or what I was not trying to do. He looks at my intention and he looks at the effort that I put in. And that is beautiful because honestly, I'm not in control of the results. There are so many different variables that come into play when results come in are looked at. There are lots of other people that are involved. There is so many different variables that are in play. But when it comes to intention, I am the only variable, and therefore I can control my intention, and therefore God holds me responsible for my intention. And so it's important for me to know that God is looking at my intention behind every action that I do and looking at the effort that I put in after I've made that intention. So, am I doing it solely for the pleasure of Allah? And am I doing it in the way He wants me to do it, the best possible way? In fact, Allah tells us in Surah Al Imran that those who are successful are those who invite to good and enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. Muslim did that. He invited people towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What goodness is there other than that? And he enjoined them towards what is right, towards giving allegiance to Imam, towards fighting on the side of Imam. And he tried to move them away from worrying about this world and worrying about their lives and worrying about their families and thinking that they were in control of that rather than God. So Muslim was successful, truly successful. And this is what we need to work towards. So the bringing it home message from Muslim ibn Aqil's life is we need to prepare for the coming of our Imam ourselves, and then the people around help and work together to prepare others as well, to help prepare others and help us prepare together and use the resources that we have, and never to give up, no matter what life throws at us, no matter who is with us or who is against us, and also to ensure that constantly my intention is only for the pleasure of Allah and I am putting in all the effort that I can in order to do it the way that Allah wants me to do. And if I do it that way, Inshallah, I too will be successful. Please join me tomorrow for another series of Bringing It Home Ashura. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.